Welcome to a meeting of the official local planning agency for the cities of Tampa, Temple Terrace, Plant City, and unincorporated Hillsborough County. The Planning Commission provides innovative leadership and long-range vision that contributes to the creation of a thriving, prosperous community that offers opportunity, fairness, and choice in how we live, move, learn, work, and play. For more information about the Planning Commission, please call 813-272-5940. Follow us on social media or visit our website at planhillsborough.org.
Welcome to the May 8th, 2023 public hearing of the Planning Commission on City of Tampa Comprehensive Plan Amendments. We thank you for attending this meeting. Your comments and participation are encouraged. For those attending in person and wishing to speak on any agenda item, please sign the register at the rear of the room and turn off any devices that may be a distraction. To minimize feedback in the audio, all online participants in the meeting will be muted until it is their opportunity to speak. Planning commissioners should unmute themselves to indicate that they would like to speak. Please be sure to state your name at the beginning of your remarks for the benefit of the clerk. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments. When your name is called, you will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Please wait until the chair calls on you to begin speaking. State your name at the beginning of your comments and adhere to the time limits. If anyone has difficulties or is watching via HTV and would like to provide comments to be included in the record for local government hearing, please email them to planner@plancom.org. That's planner@plancom.org. For those of you who are not familiar with our process, the meeting will be conducted as follows. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentation with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the Planning Commission when recognized by the chairman. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal or response. Planning commissioners will then ask questions. Public comment will be closed, and upon a motion, a second, and discussion, a vote will be taken. With that, I'd like to ask the clerk to please go ahead and call roll.
Bernstein?
Here.
Bowden?
Here.
Buzza?
Here.
Cardenas?
Here.
Fernandez?
Here.
Handy?
Present.
Kress?
Here.
Lauk?
Here.
Soria? Orton?
Here.
Rodriguez? Chair Joseph?
Here.
You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. All right. Again, we're going to have to make a motion here. We have Commissioner Handy joining us virtually, so we're going to have to take some sort of action here as a board to be able to grant her her voting authority. If anyone was interested, or Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Based on reasons that were previously articulated to the Commission, I move that we allow Commissioner Handy to participate virtually on the basis that she's sufficiently articulated exigent circumstances warranting such participation.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernstein. Commissioner Buzza.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to approve or allow Commissioner Handy to vote. A second to that motion by Commissioner Buzza. Any questions from the commissioners? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to do a roll call vote on that item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Buzza?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Lauk?
Yes.
Chair Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you. All right, our first item of business tonight is 2A TACPA 23-02 Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment 7702 South O'Brien Street, and the presenter is David Hay.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. David Hay with your Planning Commission staff. Share my screen. Hopefully you can all see that.
Yes.
Yes, great. The first amendment for you this evening is, again, TA CPA 23-02. It is located at 7702 South O'Brien Street, and that's in the Port Tampa City neighborhood. It is privately initiated. It is small scale. It's approximately 0.12 acres in size. Currently, the subject site has a future land use designation of light industrial, and the applicant is seeking to amend the future land use to go to a residential 10 future land use category. Again, we'll take a look at the general locator map. You could see it down in the southern part of the city of Tampa. It is located within the South Tampa Planning District, more specifically the Port Tampa City neighborhood. It's just north of MacDill Air Force Base. The subject site also falls within the coastal high hazard area. Here we have an aerial of the subject site. You could see that the subject site is outlined in yellow in the center. The street running north-south, that is South O'Brien Street. It dead ends into MacDill Air Force Base, which you could see is at the south of the aerial. This is the fuel tanks associated with the base. This aerial is slightly dated. A number of these vacant parcels to the east have been developed with single-family detached residential. To the west, you see a lot of vacant land. Then you see the baseball field associated with the Southwest Port Tampa City Park. And then further to the west, you see heavy industrial uses related to the port activities in Port Tampa City. That's those tanks in the upper left. Here we will take a little tour around the site. Here we're looking east toward the subject site. We're standing out on South O'Brien Street. You could see those vacant lots in the aerials have been developed with single-family detached uses. Now we're looking south toward South O'Brien Street. MacDill Air Force Base is past the trees at the dead end of the road. The subject site is out of frame on the left of the picture. Here we're standing right in front of the subject site looking west. So this is what interfaces the subject site directly across South O'Brien Street. Here now we're looking southeast down South O'Brien Street. The subject site is located out of frame on the left. And then here we're looking west down the adjacent drainage canal. This runs east-west through this part of the neighborhood. It also forms the northern boundary of the subject site. That's actually to the back of the photographer here, but this is drains off into the bay. Here we have the adopted future land use map. You could see the subject site is light gray, similar to some of these other parcels, especially to the west of the subject site. That is all the light industrial future land use category. Completely surrounding the site is in the R10, that's that tan color. We could see the green associated with the recreation open space, the Southwest Port Tampa City Park, located to the west, and then MacDill Air Force Base in the blue to the south. Here is the future land use category if this amendment is finally approved. You could see the subject site has turned to that residential 10 tan color. Currently under the light industrial, residential is not permitted, and up to a total of 7,578 square feet of non-residential uses, including light industrial uses, could be considered on that site. Under the residential 10, the residential maximum residential density for the site would be able to go up to 1 dwelling unit, and the non-residential potential significantly decreases down to 1,768 square feet. The proposed amendment will result in the introduction of residential uses and reduce the potential and overall intensity of any non-residential uses, including a prohibition on those light industrial uses. Also, any non-residential uses that are commercial in nature or office would need to meet commercial locational criteria. Your staff has reviewed the application, and within your packet, I did want to direct you to page 7. On that page, there is we kind of go through the history of what has occurred in this part of South Tampa. You can see in that, on that page, the area south of the drainage canal was basically all light industrial or heavy industrial. And there's been 10 plan amendments since 2004 that have slowly eroded that light industrial uses within that area and replaced it with the residential 10 future land use category. Now, you all are aware that our comp plan does value our industrial uses when within policy Objective 8.10 of the land use element. It clearly states that light and heavy industrial uses that are appropriately located in terms of traffic accessibility, those are the areas that the city should be trying to preserve. It's been interpreted since 2004 that the industrial uses initially planned in that section of Port Tampa City did not have adequate access to use those industrial uses without encroaching into the established residential to the north. Any industrial traffic would need to travel on those local roads down to that light industrial. So that's been one of the determining factors of these 10 amendments over the years. The other issue that comes to light is the coastal high hazard area. And that we look at ensuring that density does not increase within the coastal high hazard. Specifically, it states no net increase. The comp plan does contemplate that plan amendments can be considered within the coastal high hazard area. And it was staff's interpretation that since this application, similar to the other ones that have historically occurred since 2004 in this area, are asking for one of the lowest density categories within the city of Tampa, consistent with the development pattern directly to the north that was established years ago within Port Tampa City. And it should be noted that also the city's comments that were provided in your packet also determined that this increase would be, in their report, de minimis, that all these factors outweighed the potential of keeping the light industrial there and potentially causing compatibility issues with that existing neighborhood. So staff did find that the plan amendment was consistent with a number of policies related to the protection of residential neighborhoods, and then also the promotion of infill, and that the infill, that the density that is being proposed on this site is similar to the categories surrounding the site. So based on all that, the Planning Commission staff is recommending to you this evening that that you all find the proposed map amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Tampa Comprehensive Plan. That concludes my presentation. I believe the applicant is online and would like to present as well. Thank you.
All right. Would the applicant please go ahead?
Hi, hello. My name is Diana Aponte. I am the applicant representing Ohio Real Estate Group, LLC. It's a company that owns the property. Basically, our goal is to change, like as stated, the light industrial use to residential 10 because we want to eventually build a residential home on that property. And as it was stated previously, all the surrounding areas to that lot are also residential. So I feel that a change would be good.
All right. Was that all?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. I was just making sure we didn't lose you. All right. Thank you. All right. We did not have anyone sign up for the public comment on this item. I don't think. No one from the back. Nope. All right. So I'll turn it over to commissioners for discussions, questions, comments of staff. Not seeing Commissioner Bernstein.
This is more a comment directed at staff. I don't know if it was intentional or not, and I assume the coastal high hazard piece of this wasn't a driving part of the staff's analysis, but I appreciated the contextual piece, the way that the coastal high hazard area was addressed contextually relative to the neighborhood and some other things. I personally found that to be a useful way to present the issue.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernstein. Did you have a light on over there? No. Commissioner Fernandez, I know he's coming to some good stuff.
I just, like I said last month, I think this is just irresponsible to build in this neighborhood. This block in particular has two drainage canals on each end of the block. It's about 5 feet above sea level, but right where that storm would do some serious damage. And for single-family homes, I've had different attitudes towards a high-rise or something like that, because a lot of these homes, I know they'll probably be built up 5 feet, but it's, I think, 542 homes, I think I counted last month, were built in this area in the last 10 or 12 years, and it's, for all the things that we, debate here, I just think it's really irresponsible to be building over there. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fernandez. Commissioner Cardenas.
In a weird way, I kind of feel the same, but at the same time, this neighborhood, we have built a lot there. And this property in itself is the way it is now is kind of falling outside of what could be done on it. And the current owner does have some rights in the context of being able to do what they can with the property. And, if they would have been, obviously, some of these bigger builders went down there and converted a lot, did a lot, and it happened with them. Tying down one individual owner, I think is tough. And I work with people buying homes all day long, every day, and people do what they want, regardless of how many times I tell them that something's in a coastal high hazard area, or it, floods a lot around here. I've had lots of situations where I've gone out of my way to make that a point, but people still do what they want. So I'm for the change.
Thank you, Commissioner Cardenas. Good points. Yes, Commissioner
Yeah,
Fernandez.
I totally agree with that. But if you take a look at the street, we've got really poor infrastructure down there for new homes anyway. And I don't know about you, but I got like a 14% increase in my electric bill this year. And the reasoning was infrastructure like that getting wiped out. And so it's haphazard. Take a look at the street. It's a problem waiting to happen. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner Fernandez. Any more discussion from amongst the commissioners? Commissioner Handy isn't on the line with anything. No. Okay. Not seeing any more lights at this time, then I will go on ahead and close the discussion on this item and open it up to motions on this item. Yes, Commissioner Lau?
Sure. I'll offer a motion. I find the proposed future land use designation change for City of Tampa CPA 23-02 from light industrial to residential consistent with the Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and let's forward this recommendation to the Tampa City Council.
All right, that's a motion of consistency finded by Commissioner Lauk.
I'll second that.
All right, second to that motion by Commissioner Cardenas. I'm sorry, your light's hidden behind the speaker there for me. All right, a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Lauk. Second to that motion by Commissioner Cardenas. Are there any more questions or discussions from the commissioners? Not seeing any. Then I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
No.
Buzza?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez?
No.
Handy?
No.
Kress?
Yes.
Lauk?
Yes.
Chair Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 6-3. Commissioner Bowden, Fernandez, and Handy voted no.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we have item 2B, TACPA 23-04, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, 1222 Channelside Drive, and the presenter is Sam Thomas.
Good evening, Commissioners. Again, this is TACPA 2304, located at 1222 Channelside Drive. This request is privately initiated and it's small scale in size, approximately 1 acre, and the request is to go from heavy industrial to regional mixed use 100. Here is the location of the site on our general locator map. It's within the Central Tampa Planning District, the Channel District neighborhood, CRA, and Urban Village. The site is also within the coastal high hazard and within the CBD periphery. Here is an aerial of the site. It is highlighted in yellow and outlined in red. It is just to the east of Channelside Drive and north of East Twiggs Street. You can see the development pattern of this area is very multifamily and mixed-use development. As you go to the west, though, you are right at the port of Tampa Bay, and just to the south is the cruise ship terminals. As you move farther north, you have the Selman Expressway, and then Ybor City and the Gasworks development over here along Nucio Parkway. You have the Amtrak Union Station to the west, and the CBD Central Business District periphery to the west as well. This is looking west from East Twiggs Street at the subject site. It's on the right over here. This is looking north at the subject site from East Twiggs Street. This is looking south from the subject site, or looking south from the subject site. The subject site would be behind the picture at the intersection of Channelside Drive and East Twiggs Street. And this is looking east on Twiggs Street at the subject site on the left-hand side here. Here is a map of the adopted future land use. You can see the site recognized under the heavy industrial. As you can see, regional mixed use 100 is the predominant future land use designation in this area. There have been some recent plan amendments last year that have come before you all. Just to the north of the site that is recognized under heavy industrial here, that was approved to be changed to regional mixed use 100. That was TACPA 2225. And just to the north of that was TACPA 2202. It's this parcel and this parcel here that went from heavy industrial to regional mixed use 100 as well. And here is the proposed future map, future land use map recognizing that under the RMU 100. So a planning commission staff found policies applicable to this request, such as promoting densities and mixes of use that support public transit in the compact city form strategy. However, staff found the request inconsistent with multiple policies related to the coastal high hazard area and the preservation of industrial lands. Oh, I'm skipping a slide, I'm sorry. Currently, the residential uses are not permitted in the heavy industrial, but they could be considered for 65,000 square feet of non-residential uses. In the RMU 100, they can be considered for 100 dwelling units or 152,000 square feet or more of residential or non-residential uses. As mentioned before, this is in the CBD periphery district, so what is shown here could be higher than what is within what, that's not the limit. They could bonus up to something higher than that. To the policies, staff did find the request inconsistent with multiple policies related to the CHHA and the preservation of industrial lands. The currently adopted comprehensive plan states that there should be no net increase in residential density within the CHHA, and instead encourages additional density to be located outside the CHHA. There has been no recognized reduction of potential intensity or density within the surrounding area that would offset the proposed increase of this magnitude and of a density of 100 new residential units within the proposed plan amendment. Maintaining and improving evacuation times is critical to the county, and it is not currently meeting its evacuation level of service. Planning Commission staff has determined the amendment with the addition of 100 new dwelling units is inconsistent with that policy direction. Additionally, the comprehensive plan seeks the preservation of industrial lands and discourages residential development near industrial uses. Planning Commission staff does acknowledge that adjacent residential uses to the west of the subject site. However, LU policy 8.1.10.5 prioritizes the heavy industrial uses on undeveloped land that is currently designated heavy industrial. Additionally, staff took into account the close proximity to Port Tampa Bay, that the site could still be of use of industrial uses related to the port. So in conclusion, Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed map amendment be found inconsistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Tampa Comprehensive Plan.
Was there an applicant presentation?
The applicant is here, yes.
Okay.
I'm pulling up the presentation now.
Good evening, Commissioners. Alex Shaler, 400 North Ashley Drive. I'll kind of skip through some of this location stuff. Sam did a great job setting up where this is. As you can see, the subject parcel is outlined in that magenta color at the corner of Twiggs and Channelside. This is a request. I did a little bit of clip art here so you can see the reflection of the prior comp plan amendment just north of the subject site. So our proposed amendment right now, the way this parcel stands, it is an island of heavy industrial, completely surrounded by RMU 100. This is adopted and proposed. Sam went through these numbers, so major change is that residential development would be introduced here with a change to RMU 100, whereas it's currently HI does not allow residential development. I think this is a good point that Commissioner Bernstein brought up earlier with the prior amendment, is that, you know, right now the way that the trending pattern of this neighborhood, so if you look at this comprehensive plan amendment in the context of the neighborhood and not just as TACPA 2304, this is no longer compatible. So if you're looking at this map here, you can't put a manufacturing facility right next to all of this high-rise mixed-use multifamily residential development. And I think that's one of the strongest points of justification for this, as this is one of the last remaining HI parcels in the Channel District today. Sam mentioned this briefly. There is a lot of precedent for this request. These two text boxes in green here are requests that we've brought before you as well. TACPA 2202, that was 1242 Channelside Drive, and then just south of that, just north of our subject parcel this evening, it's TACPA 2225. Both of those were the exact same request that we have before you this evening. That's HI to RMU 100. And as you can see, all of these green dotted hatched boxes over all of these parcels here are amendments that have already occurred in the district. So as you can see, I mean, most of the parcels within this area have been amended from that industrial use to RMU 100 specifically. This is just showing that the outline in the magenta color of the two prior amendments that were adopted by this board back almost a year to the day with 1242 Channelside, May 9th, 2022, and then back in March of this year for 1236 Channelside Drive. In terms of getting into some of our justification here for this specific request, outside of just the precedential development that we showed, I wanted to note that one of the major criteria for successful urbanized high-density mixed-use development is the availability of transit and of transportation, alternative methods of transportation specifically, and that's why the Channel District is such a highly desired place to live, because of its proximity to downtown. People can bike to work, people can walk to work. The Tico streetcar line runs right along Channelside Drive. There's HART routes that run along Channelside Drive, and then as you can see, access to some of the bigger roadways in the city, Adamo Drive, the Selman Expressway, and then, as Sam mentioned, the Union Station as well. So I would like to address coastal high hazard area, and I think this slide and some of these other slides will be very familiar to you all. I know you've seen them a few different times with different amendments, but the point I'd like to make is that the coastal management section of the comprehensive plan is essentially two different objectives. We have them both listed on the screen here. The second one I'd like to address first, that's the hurricane evacuation times. We cannot caveat or condition a land use amendment, so we can't sit here and say there's certain evacuation measures that can be put into place with this future land use change. However, that can be done via a rezoning. We can add conditions to a plan development site plan. All of that stuff can be mitigated down the road. It's just not something that we can do tonight. The main objective, 1.1, about directing future population away from the CHHA, I think, is in direct conflict to some of the other more prevalent policies of the comprehensive plan, and that, you know, this is just one small section of the comp plan, although very important and you know, relatively weighed. There are a lot of different sections of the comp plan that would support this type of request in this neighborhood. So the first one being the fact that this is in the Channel District urban village. The comp plan is very clear in that we should direct the greatest share of growth to the urban villages, which the Channel District is in. City planning policies, again, this is just encouraging higher density development in character with the surroundings, and as we mentioned and as shown on some of these maps, I mean, this neighborhood is almost all now high density mixed use residential development, and then also encouraging infill on some underutilized sites, and I'll allude to that a little bit later with the CRA plan as well. Some multifamily policies as well. I won't read through all of these text on the screen. Channelside Drive is a mixed-use corridor, so the conversion of non-residential, the introduction of medium and higher density housing, which would be allowed, and the RMU 100 category. We have a lot of people moving to Tampa every day, so the availability of housing stock and having places to put these people is really important. And again, like I said, the Channel District is a place where a lot of people want to live. It's close to the water, it's close to downtown, and I think the neighborhood has done a great job of transitioning and being able to absorb some of that population that's moving into the district. So as I mentioned, not only is the Channel District governed by the comprehensive plan, but also by their own CRA plan. And you've seen this quote before. I love this quote, and I use it often in terms of the Channel District, because I think it's such a great way to synergize what the Channel District was before and what it's moving to in the future. It says that it's quickly grown from an industrial area into one that's urban, mixed use, with limited industrial uses and a large and growing residential component. And this is directly from the Channel District's CRA plan. And there's 2 sections from that plan that I've included here. As I mentioned earlier, this site is specified as underutilized land in the CRA plan. And this is, as you can tell, that the plan's a little bit older, so some of this is outdated. We've done a couple different amendments since these graphics were done. The second one is a chart, and that's showing the future land use categories by acreages in the Channel District. And again, you know, the 2 that we had mentioned previously before that are just north of this site were a little over 2 acres. So as you can see, that the heavy industrial area, although it's labeled as 14 acres, is much less now, which is a lot less than the RMU 100 to 150 acres. And then I wanted to close with one note in that, you know, we understand that the preservation of industrial land is important, and I know that's one of the founding one of the basis points that Planning Commission staff has made, and we understand that. But I think that there are locations within the city where that's prevalent and where that makes sense and where it's compatible. As mentioned, that is unfortunately no longer compatible with the trending pattern of development in the Channel District today. So I will conclude with that, and I'm available for questions.
All right, thank you. I don't believe we had anyone sign up in the public comment for this one, so we will turn it over to the commissioners for comments, questions, discussions. Commissioner Buzza.
Well, we always come back to the coastal high hazard issue, don't we? This one is identical almost to the other items, properties down there that have been rezoned and future land use changed. I think this would follow suit. Again, there was a discussion earlier about the O'Brien property and being in single family without flood protection, but with these newer apartment buildings having first floor, not necessarily waste space, but non-residential, generally on the first floor, to help the tidal surge and the demand for downtown housing. I think this one would be one we want to look at for accepting on the coastal high hazard.
Thank you, Commissioner Buzza. Commissioner Kress.
Question for Sam. Sam, I'm curious if the Port Authority
We
has
received
an
no comment
opinion
from
on
the
this.
board.
Okay, I didn't remember seeing anything.
No comment from them, but it was sent out to them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is what, you know, this neighborhood is what it is. So I'll be supporting, well, I'll be not supporting inconsistent. Did I say that correctly?
Thank you, Commissioner Kress. Yes, Commissioner Loud.
Jog my memory, Sam, I'm sorry, I missed it in my notes. Is this considered a large-scale plan amendment?
No,
Or
this
small?
is small scale.
It's 5 acres?
It's only 1 acre.
It's only 1, okay. And so when you combine the adjacent parcels that we've already previously approved, would it be considered a large-scale amendment?
I'm not prepared to answer that question, but I could definitely look at the acreage of the previous plan amendments and let you know if you would like.
Okay, I think my overall point in asking that question, don't go do the homework. We hear this is the nature of the neighborhood, this is the way the neighborhood is moving, and while I generally support this type of use for this type of area, I'm reluctant to approve it because it feels almost like we're hoodwinked. So one parcel at a time, one parcel at a time, one parcel at a time comes before us by the same applicant for the same change when it potentially could be a large-scale amendment. So I wonder why we're getting them piecemeal and why not all at once? Because it looks almost strategic in the way these are coming to us in the last 6 months.
Tyler Hudson, 400 North Ashley Drive. So these are all related developments. The goal was to bring this all at once, but the small scale, large scale threshold is 50 acres. Right. So this, even if aggregated, this would not have been large scale. This was an assemblage that was not done quickly. And so there's another one coming for 1222 channel side. Sorry, that is this. I'm sorry, there's been a lot for this. There's no, we're not trying to hoodwink this commission on this. If we had all these under control all at once, we would have brought them all at once. But that is not how the contractual timelines and the seller's willingness to allow us to make applications on their behalf lined up. It would have been ideal to also take the parcel to the north that's currently a cruise ship parking lot through. That shouldn't be a cruise ship parking lot. That should be something else. But we're not at a point where we can take that through, but putting you on warning that might come through. This entire block at some point is going to be applied for RMU 100. But I come here before you all a lot, so my integrity matters a lot to me. These applications were not chopped up as if that would make it easier. We get the pretty similar treatment here every time on that, and I think if these were aggregated, that wouldn't be the same.
Fair enough. Appreciate the
thanks.
clarity on that. That's great.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Bernstein.
Well, every time coastal high hazard area comes up, I just can't resist the temptation to jump in. And someday I'll probably regret it when we're all floating away on Noah's Ark, and they'll resurrect all my comments on this one. But I do have a couple questions, and Sam, thank you for your presentation on it. I don't know if these are fair to put to you. It may be for our executive director or even others in the room, but I did hear reference to, among others, LU policy 8.10.5 and this notion, which I'm sure comes right out of that policy, that we should essentially preserve industrial where it's set aside as industrial. And yet I can't help ask myself, what is the policy behind that policy at times when essentially what I hear from that is that if it was once industrial, even within an island of residential, it shall forever remain so. That's an exaggeration, I know what you're saying, but you end up there, and I'm struggling, I suppose, to grasp what the policy objective is behind that when we know, and it's not just the applicant who's saying this, we say it every day, we live in this community, people are moving here. And they're not going to stop moving here just because we have policies that make it harder for them to move here and find, large-scale residencies. So where do we put these people? And I recognize this is just one of many options, but other cities are already facing what we're soon going to be facing. And so, it's important for us to grasp the micro aspects of some of these applications, but I think at the same time, we need to start asking ourselves what policies are served by those that staff is relying upon in support of some recommendations like these. And if the answer is coastal high hazard, totally accept that and let's own it. Whenever Commissioner Fernandez, among others, speaks, I tend to listen because I know he has far more expertise in those areas than I do, and I want to hear from our fellow commissioners on these. But I think we need an open and honest discussion about that because the people aren't stopping. They're still coming. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and if you would like a response to that, I would say we are coming up with the comp plan update right now, and the industrial section is moving forward. I believe in August is when we'll start working on that. So comments like that is something that definitely will be kept in mind when we're revamping that, and to look at something that maybe is not just a cut and dry yes or no. It always has to be heavy industrial if it is. So definitely comments staff will take in mind and keep in mind when we're working through the update on that, which is coming this summer.
Just to clarify, the industrial section will move forward with the land use section in February, in August. Sorry.
Thanks to you both.
And if I could just add, we did a study of industrial lands based on some, I don't know, that was probably 5 years ago or so, based on some issues with conversion of industrial land in the city of Tampa to residential, because that was clearly a direction the market was going. And at the time, the city wasn't quite ready to update their policy direction, but I do think that as the staff mentioned, that is warranted. I think there are some factors that we need to look at in terms of proximity to the port, and what does that mean for industrial land going forward? Because there are, and what areas are marketable for continued industrial use based on that proximity to the port? Because there are areas where the port will say they're very concerned about. They didn't make comment on this one. That's why we send it to them if it's in the Port Activity Center. But I think that's that location to major transportation facilities are things that we need to consider. Are not having land in those areas is not, it's not plentiful. It's not, we have a limited supply, and so how are we going to utilize it? And that combined with, on the flip side, that industrial uses are changing quite a bit. They're not necessarily in the heavy category as much anymore, and might use different footprints of buildings than they used to. So I think there's quite a bit that's changed since this policy was written, but nevertheless, it is the adopted policy that staff has to review based on.
Thank you, Ms. Ornita. Are there any Other questions, comment items from the commissioners? No? Oh, sorry, Commissioner Handy. Commissioner Handy was online with a question. Oh.
Yeah, yes, just a comment really. The way I read it, the existing allowable density, it still allows for the residential. We're just, this amendment would increase it to over 300 units on 1 acre. I just question the wisdom of doing that in the coastal high hazard area, and I think staff probably called it properly by finding it inconsistent, because we do not want to convert moderate density to high density in the coastal high hazard area. So again, that's to me that I don't know that we need to put people that are coming to Tampa in those areas. And the last one, the single family home, was a bit of a struggle for me, because I understand that staff's finding, and I did not disagree with it, but I have to say that that drainage ditch and the idea that that is not, it's not an if but when type of scenario, it seemed like that was not the right thing to develop that property either. But that's my comment. It seems like there is a adequate moderate density the way it stands now without increasing it in that particular area that is subject to the coastal flooding. That's it. That's my comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Handy.
Commissioner Handy, I just want to make sure I provide you with all the most accurate information for you to base your decision off of. The current heavy industrial does not allow for any residential at all. The numbers that I believe you're seeing is what is allowed by right under the RMU 100, which is 100 dwelling units per acre. And then I also did a calculation within my staff report with the bonus agreement, which would allow them to double their density up to 200 dwelling units per acre, which is where that 300 number comes from.
Oh, thank you for clarifying. Yes, I was looking at the adopted future land use. Yes, thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Commissioner Fernandez, I was waiting for you.
Thank you. One thing on that, it might be because the PDFs are switched online. When you click on 04, 05 comes up. When you click on 05, 04 comes up. So maybe she was reading the table, because I got caught on that too at first. But yeah, my attitude's the same on this area. Building up in an area that can has access to transportation. I definitely support this land use change. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Fernandez. Are there any other comments or questions, discussion items from the commissioners on this one? Not seeing any at this time, I'll just take a moment to remind the commissioners that if you are going to make a motion in opposition to staff, that we should definitely pick out some of these great land use policies and objectives and goals that staff has provided for us. If you want to make a motion in opposition, let's definitely have something to tie it to so that it's substantive. With that being said, I'll ask one more time if anybody has any comments, questions. Not seeing any. All right, I'll go ahead and close the public comment on this item and open it up to motions. Commissioner Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to motion that the land use designation change for the city of Tampa, CPA 2304, from heavy industrial to regional mixed use, consistent with the Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and forward this recommendation to the City Council. Citing Housing Policy 1.3.1 and...
I have a slide with some additional policies if that would be helpful.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Just speed it up. And
there you go.
Perfect. Yep. And land use policy 6.1.3, 6.1.10. Thank you.
6.1.3, 6.1.10. All right. Motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Fernandez. Commissioner Buzzer? Oh, Commissioner Lauk, sorry. All right. Motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Fernandez, citing housing policy, what was the first one? 1.3.1, land use policy 6.1.10, and land use policy 6.1.3. A second to that motion by Commissioner Lauk. Is there any more discussion, comments, or questions from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
Buzza,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Handy,
No.
Kress,
Yes.
Lauk,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Motion carried 8-1. Commissioner Handy voted no.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we have our last item, item 2C, TACPA 23-05, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, multiple parcels located between East Ross Avenue and East 7th Avenue, and the presenter is Emily Phelan.
Good evening, Emily Phelan, Planning Commission staff. This is TACPA 2305. The request is privately initiated, small scale, it's approximately 5.22 acres, and the request is to go from community commercial 35 to urban mixed use 60. This is the general location map. It's located within the Central Planning District, the Tampa Heights Urban Village and Neighborhood, and portions of the site are within the local and national historic districts and the Central Business District periphery. This is an aerial of the subject site. It is outlined in pink, and the red dashed line is the local historic district line, and the blue dashed line is the national historic district line. Parcels to the south of West Palm Avenue are within the CBD periphery, and Palm Avenue is here. So all of these would be in the periphery while these are not. The commercial uses are to the south and west of the subject site, and residential uses are to the east. This is looking at the subject site. Here is the YMCA Administrative Building. It's at the corner of East Oak Avenue and North Florida Avenue, looking north. This is looking north at the subject site on North Franklin Street, and right here in the background is the YMCA. This is facing west on North Franklin Street at the subject site. This is the surrounding area on North Tampa Street facing south, and the subject site is on the left. And on the right here is Brewster Technical College. This is facing east at the intersection of East Ross Avenue and North Florida Avenue, looking at the subject site. And this is facing south on East Ross Avenue, looking at the subject site. This is the adopted future land use map. The subject site's outlined in black and represented by the red, which is the Community Commercial 35 designation. To the northwest and the northeast is the Residential 35 designation. The dark brown color is Residential 83, and over here to the southwest is Regional Mixed Use 100. This is the subject site represented with the Urban Mixed Use 60 designation. Currently, under the CC 35 designation, the subject site could be considered for 182 dwelling units, or over 454,000 square feet of non-residential or residential uses. And under the proposed UMU 60, the subject site could be considered for 313 dwelling units, or slightly over 738,000 square feet of non-residential or residential uses. And with the Urban Mixed Use 60 designation, it has the potential to introduce high-intensity multifamily uses. Planning Commission staff reviewed this and found it consistent with multiple aspects of the comprehensive plan relating to the promotion of housing choices, the promotion of increased density near transit options, and the comprehensive plan directs the greatest share of growth to urban villages. With those in mind, Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed map amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Tampa Comprehensive Plan. And also with this application, before it goes to City Council, it would go in front of the Architectural Review Commission, which is scheduled for June 5th, I believe. And the applicant has a presentation as well.
Thanks, Emily. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Tyler Hudson. My address is 400 North Ashley Drive. Recognizing that this is all that stands between you and an unusually early adjournment, I will try to keep my remarks brief. Emily did a great job teeing up exactly where this is. This is sort of the core of the southern portion of Tampa Heights, at Palm, between Florida and Tampa. All of these lands are currently owned by the Tampa YMCA. The request, so left is existing rights proposed. We think UMU 60 is sort of a nice kind of the warm bowl of porridge for this site. We had considered RMU 100 for the site, which would match what's to the west, which comprises the Armature Works, the Heights development. Candidly, staff had some concerns about that, and out of an interest in being in alignment with staff and not creating more precedent than necessary, we are proposing UMU 60, which we think is a nice buffer category between the RMU 100 on the west and then R83 to the east, which is a somewhat unusual category to be in Tampa Heights. That's like the Bayshore high-rise category. So we think UMU 60 really works. For reasons I'll show in a second. I think Emily kind of walked through that already. So let's talk about transit. The comprehensive plan has a lot of different categories for different types of roads. One of those categories is a transit emphasis corridor, which Florida Avenue is, and there's a lot of comprehensive plan policies in support of the notion that those are exactly the type of corridors that are suitable for intensification like what we are proposing. Right now, Hart runs the Route 1 on northwards on Florida Avenue, southwards on Tampa Street at 15-minute frequencies, which by Tampa standards is pretty good. That's about really as good as it gets for bus, not including the streetcar. So there's already a lot of great transit by Tampa standards there now, and we think this is a great site for potentially more to come. To that end, the potential streetcar expansion, while the timing for that is a little uncertain, the funding for that is a little uncertain. This isn't entirely theoretical. There have been significant investments in planning and doing P&D drawings for exactly how that would look, and what the alignment calls for, the preferred alignment that's been adopted, is to run north up Florida Avenue, take a western turn at Palm, and then go down, return on Tampa Street, which makes this project, which not to spoil it, there's going to be a proposed PD rezoning for this development filed by the YMCA, makes this really one of the most well-suited transit-oriented development sites, I think, in the city. This is an urban village. It's entirely sort of awash in urban village, which, as we've heard from the prior application and this one too, is where the comprehensive plan suggests directing the growth. This is not in the coastal high hazard area, so you guys are spared that for this one. But the comp plan is replete with policies directing growth to these types of corridors, mixed use corridors, transit emphasis corridors, all of which this assemblage comprises. And certainly appreciate staff's finding of consistency. Well, one note, actually, do you have the handout? It is worth noting too, just think for context, since you all don't get to see the details of the rezoning, this is sort of a sneak peek for you all, but I think it is important to note that, put the Elmo. This is in really small font, I'm noticing, but that's Palm. So there's a RAISE grant that the city got. This isn't hypothetical money. The city has obtained the RAISE grant to make really significant stormwater and roadway improvements on Florida and Tampa. And the blue portion, which goes to Palm for both cases, that's funded. That money is here, and the TPO, I believe tomorrow or on Wednesday, will be making a potential recommendation to accelerate some local funding for the brown portions, which is Tampa and Florida. It's Florida north of Palm, and it's Tampa north of Nebraska. So there's a lot of investment coming to this neighborhood. And again, this is not hypothetical, this is real. And we think this densification makes a lot of sense. And we think the project that it's going to allow is going to be really exciting for the neighborhood and for the city. So happy to answer any questions, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, we had one person sign up for the public comment on this one, and that is virtually. We have Connor Lynch. Is Connor Lynch on the line?
Mr. Chair, Connor Lynch did not sign into the meeting.
Okay. All righty then. That was our one public comment item, so I will turn it over to the commissioners for questions, comments, discussions of this item. Oh, Commissioner Bernstein?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is really, I think, directed more at Mr. Hudson. I would just say thank you for working with the staff to come up with a fair solution. I'm guessing you probably didn't give that a second thought, but I mean, I think to all of us, that's exactly how the system should work. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernstein. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners? Not seeing any at this time. I'll go on ahead and close the public comment on this item. And open it up to motions from the commissioners. Commissioner Buzza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to move that we find CPA 23-05 consistent with the Tampa Comprehensive Plan and forward on to the Tampa City Council.
All right, we have a motion for consistency finding from Commissioner Buzza.
A second.
All right, a second to that motion by Commissioner Kress. Is there any more discussion from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on that item.
Bernstein,
Yes?
Bowden,
Yes.
Buzza,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Handy,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Lau,
Yes.
Chair Joseph.
Yes.
Motion carried 9-0.
Thank you. That was our last item of business. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight at 6:30 p.m. This meeting is adjourned.